Hey there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me again today for another card making video. We are using some more of our last chance products. I'm going to be showcasing a whole heap of this stuff as I sort of draw it off my shelf and you know, sort of reinvigor some of these makes. And this is going to be stuff that you've possibly already got at home, or it's something you are contemplating buying. Some of the stuff's reduced as well, so it's worthwhile having a quick look on the online store. All the links will be in the description. Everything's available at the point of filming the video, but things do move fast in this period of time before a new catalogue goes live at the beginning of May, which is super exciting. So there's lots of bargains to be had if you want to have a look in the store. And then once they're gone, they're gone. If they're on the last chance list, once they sell out, that's it. They won't be coming back. So today I am featuring this lovely hybrid folder. Well, now what is this called again? Adoring Hearts. Okay. So this is a hybrid embossing folder and die set. So that's going to be the feature of our card today, and we're going to be using this stamp set called Something Fancy. It's got a great set of coordinating dies, which are really nice generic sort of label dies, and these are also on the last chance list as well. Okay, so it's a good nice mix of sentiments. I used it quite a lot. I love the hexagon in here. Okay, that's a really great one to use. This would be good combined with a new punch set that we've got as well. So we've got those little punches, so a really great set to have in your stash. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. Let me just grab this die off here, and of course you've got all these other elements as well that you can use to embellish. You've got this that cuts multiple hearts at the same time, which is cute because, you know, if you want to do shaker cards or anything like that, you can do that. So yeah, it's cool. There is a coordinating stamp set with this as well, which I don't have. I just have the embossing folder. Okay, so as you can see, this is a really large die that cuts out 9 of the hearts at the same time, and I used all 9 to create this sort of dimensional background. So the center heart in each row is raised up on dimensionals. Okay, there's this Daffodil Delight ribbon. This is going to be this is also last chance. Okay, and then a few of these Starburst sequins. Those are online exclusives at the moment, I believe. Okay, so this is all Daffodil Delight to coordinate with a nice pop of black on the sentiment. Okay, and I've used white on the background here, but we're going to mix it up. We're going to actually use Petunia Pop. This is the two-tone cardstock, so you get a dark side and a light side. So I thought we'd use the light side as the contrast panel, so we'll get more of a monochromatic sort of look. So this is one of the current ink colours that's going to stay for another year. Okay, so we're going to be using that, but we're still going to die cut out of white and add ink onto it so that we get those sort of different shades of the same colour. We've got the pure through dye in the cardstock. We've got this lovely paper, or sort of thin cardstock, with the two-tone look, and then we'll have the blended look as well. So there'll be all that going on our background. So I've cut this piece of paper to 6 by 6 because that's the size of the embossing folder, which I've left over here. So with a hybrid embossing folder, you can actually use the dies with inside it. So if we open it up, we can place the die inside, and it kind of locks into place, and that's the only way I can describe it. And you'll know it's in the right place because it won't slide out. Okay. And it's usually on the raised side. So if you feel the design, this is raised, whereas this is the sort of sunk in bit. Okay, where the Stampin' Up logo is. Okay, 6 by 6. So we'll use a 6 by 6 piece of cardstock, and we'll fold that over, So this is a 3D embossing folder. So we will need a 3D embossing sandwich, which is the base plate with, make sure that hasn't moved, the number 4 grey plate. So we're going to pop that on top of there, pop that on top of there, and we're going to roll this through. It is a bit of a tighter roll than it would be normally, so, but it shouldn't be difficult. It'll go through. You'll just feel a little more resistance than you would do normally. Okay, and that will come out the other side and pop out. The pressure makes it just make that sort of noise as it pops out the other side. Okay, so that's been rolled through, and when we open it up and lift this out, we will get 9 beautifully die cut and embossed hearts. Okay, so you get 3 of each design. So let's just sort those just for a second. Nope, I've done that wrong. We can't do mix and match apparently. I can't play snap apparently. So okay, let's bring in some scrap paper and do some blending over the top of these. Okay, so we're going to bring in the Petunia Pop ink pad. Let's move that card out of the way before we get a spatter on it. Let's put that over there. Okay, and we can do a little bit of ink blending. So this is quite an intense colour. So I'm looking for a bit more of a rustic look anyway. Okay, and we're going to just get those inked up. So they'll move around a little bit. If you've got any like sticky mat or something like that, or something similar, you can use those. Okay, now there's probably people think, oh, why don't you just die cut it out of the colour cardstock? I just want to get that different look that you get from the blending. Okay, you could die cut it and blend over the top, and then you'll get sort of a light and dark sort of element to it. But I just wanted these to be a little bit more rustic, shall we say. And give us this different look. And you know, sort of a bit mottled and not coloured all the way through necessarily. A little bit of white bits, a little bit of dark bits. Okay, just to give it another sort of element of sort of texture, if you like. Okay, right. So that's all our hearts done. And then we also need to stamp and die cut a sentiment. So I used the happy birthday on the original card, but we've also got congratulations in there. So let's use that one. And this is just a scrap of cardstock. That's big enough for this little sentiment to fit onto. And then this is a die from that same Something Fancy set. So we'll just centre that over the top. Don't have to use a die, of course. You could just stamp that onto a skinny bit of cardstock. and just do it that way. So we're going to get this nice little banner. Like so. There we go. Right, so let's come back to our card. So I've already cut this piece of two-tone cardstock. It's 3 7/8 wide by 4 1/4 long. We might still need to trim off at the bottom. Okay, but on this one I did the pattern. Basically, I replicated how the embossing folder was set out with the different patterns on each the different patterns on each row. Okay, I kind of figured we could do them all lined up the same on each row as well. So let's just mix it up just so that you get a different look. So I'm going to take 2 of each of these and just well, let's turn them all over, and on one we're going to stick 2 dimensionals along the center, which seems to be just the perfect sort of fit for these to sit in between the 2 flat ones that we're going to create. And then we're going to take seal and just run that across the back of the others, and then it's all done and we can just stick them down, and it should come together quite quickly. Once you've done that, you don't have to do it this way, you can do it another way if you like, or as you go. I'm going to stick with this. Right, so you see how this is all going to be very tone on tone, probably 2 tone on tone, but I wanted, like I say, I wanted to go for the different look. I'm just going to get that into that first corner, lining up the top of those 2 bumps, if you like. I don't know, the top of the heart. Is there a name for those? I have no idea. So we'll pop that there. And what we could do actually is to sort of negate the whole spacing thing. If we line it up with the bottom and the side down here and then just make the middle match, we won't have to fuss with trimming it down. We'll do it this way. Okay. Right, I'm going to do all the corners basically first. Make sure they're lined up. About 1/8 of an inch I'm going for at the bottom and at the side here. And hopefully the top's lined up, trying to get them straight. Get this one done. Back there. Okay. Then let's pop this one equidistant between those 2, just keeping an eye on that left hand side. Okay, and then we can take off our dimensionals and get these in place as well. So those are going to just sit, those dimensionals are going to come into contact with the cardstock underneath. I'm just lining up the top. Lining at the bottom. And then this one in the middle. Okay, just looking to get it lined up and even as best you can. There we go. So we've got this really dimensional with some sort of variation in the colour. Okay, I think that's cute. I like it. Okay, seal on the back. And we'll, oh no, don't want to stay on the back. I'm going to add some gold twine. Do that first. So let me just make sure we're going to get that roughly in the right place. We can always fidget it around. Oh, actually the seal put down might do it. We'll have some extra tape just in case. And wrap this round because this is only thin. Let's do 3 of these so we can see that pretty gold coming through. And we'll just secure that at the back. Make sure with some tape and cut off the excess. Now we'll stick it to our card. So obviously it's not a standard sort of layer. As long as the side borders are equal, it can probably shift a bit north rather than south. But you know, just eyeball what you want. Okay, and then we can stick that down. So we're going to have that lovely pop of gold across there. We're going to need to stick that down on here as well, but we're going across some of that twine. So what we'll probably have to use a combination of dimensional and wet glue on this, because we've got that texture that we've got to deal with. So take off the dimensional, just pop some seal on this end to catch this bit on the left, and then we'll put this wet glue on, which is going to help sort of seep through and help that grip through that ribbon there. Okay, so when we're done with it, I'm going to pop a little one of my stamp blocks on top of that, and that will just keep that flat while it dries. And then the other thing we want to do is attempt to do a bow with this twine. That's what we're going to try and do. So let's cut a bit of that off. Got loads on a roll, it's retiring, so give yourself plenty to work with, and tie that into a bow. And then you can shuffle the loops as you want to. Give it a really good, as tight as you can get it. Then readjust it. That's not turned out too bad. And then we'll need a glue dot to secure that. Because it's so fine, I'm actually going to sort of, oops, I'm not going to juggle with my pokey tool. I'm just going to wrap that over it on itself, so it's sort of just half the width, because this is a teeny tiny little knot. And then we can get that into position somewhere around there, and that'll hold that really nice and firm. Okay, we want some, we're going to need some gold on here. How about the low profile dots? Yeah, let's do that. Low profile dots. I can't remember if these are returning or not. These might be in the online exclusives actually, so these might be still available. They'll be linked in the description anyway, if that's the case. Either way, they'll be linked in the description if they're available in the last chance or they're an online exclusive. Okay, so I'll go for these nice the odd numbers, just to sort of keep everything balanced. Okay, so we'll do that, and we want one more, which we can pop up there like so. Right, there we go. There's our dimensional card with the adoring hearts as the centerpiece for this. That texture that we've got on there. Okay, so this is Petunia Pop cardstock, two-tone cardstock, and ink blending with some gold accents. And then this one we used Daffodil Delight cardstock and blended it, and then we used the Daffodil Delight ribbon there. Okay, so there we go, two different versions of the same card with just slightly different sort of tweaks to suit. So obviously you can mix and match this, and I've gone monochromatic. You don't obviously have to do that. There's loads of options, of course, with colours, but I'm giving you a suggestion on how you can use those beautiful hybrid embossing folders. Right, that's it for today. Hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks ever so much for watching and supporting the channel. Do stay safe, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.